I'm joined now by Shakira, a Goodwill Ambassador of UNICEF and the recipient of a Crystal Award here in Davos last night for improving the lives of youth through early childhood education. Thank you very much indeed for talking with us, Shakira. This is clearly an area you are passionate about. Do you leave Davos and all these people, these policymakers, these business leaders feeling optimistic that they get the message?
This can be done overnight. This work of promoting the investment on early childhood development strategies. You have to be insistent. You have to be perseverant. But I have a lot of perseverance. It's a matter of putting children's needs at the center of the political and social and economic debate. So it becomes top of mind, and so it becomes a priority in the global agenda and the agenda of politicians and also business leaders. Because definitely, if we want to achieve success in the area of early childhood development, we have to make sure that all sectors of society come together. Not only the public sector and the private sector, also the civil society.
From the conversations you've had here over the past couple of days, do you get a sense that they are listening, that they are receptive, and you go back and the groups you work with in Colombia or wherever, that you could give them a positive message?
Yeah, there is a growing global understanding of the importance of investing on ECD strategies. I believe that more and more people are started to get it. When I first began talking about the investment on ECD, I met with heads of state in Latin America and began to lobby for it, and it was shocking because many politicians, many heads of state didn't have the issue on the radar.
Sure.
They were a bit detached from it, but I think that there are great champions for education, like Gordon Brown, and President Obama has been an amazing champion for education, and so many other public figures. But the good thing about it, advocating for ECD, is that you don't have to be a public figure, a celebrity, or a politician even to affect change and to do social good and to make this issue top of mind.
Yeah. You said when you accepted your award, you said you want to make it impossible for governments to say no. How do you do that?
Well, you start the projects as a business person, or you get business leaders interested. They say, okay, well, we're going to do a school here. We're going to do a center here. We're going to build an ECD center here. Obviously, we're going to build it if the government comes and does its part. So we create a whole partnership with the government and engage them, and they get excited about it. And it gets sexy.
Yeah, I guess you're part of this is convincing them that you are creating, and this is something else you said, the babies are the future leaders. You're creating the future leaders.
Today's babies are going to drive tomorrow's businesses.
Right.
They're going to solve tomorrow's problems. They are the ones who are going to fuel tomorrow's economies. It's not us, it's our babies. Mine, yours, and those 250 million kids out there who are at risk of not getting enough nutrition, care, and stimulation in those first 5 years of their life, which are the most critical years in a human being's in the development of a human being. The thing about investing in ECD is that it prepares children better to enter school, to stay in school, and to succeed in life. It boosts economic growth for nations. It helps close the gap between the rich and the poor. It is the key to eradicating poverty.
You mentioned President Obama and the work he's done in education, and I believe you were on an advisory committee for educating the youth, Hispanic youth.
Yeah.
Would you do a similar thing for the new administration in the U.S.?
I still am, and I continue to work for education under President Trump or under President X, Y, Z, you call it. I mean, we cannot give up our fight. We cannot give up on children. We cannot press pause and wait until they grow up, until we have it, for them to grow up, until we have it all figured out. It doesn't matter. I mean, of course, it matters who is in power, but independent of who is in power, we have to continue insisting on delivering high-quality education to our kids, especially the most vulnerable ones, the youngest ones, and those in the first five, and those from 0 to 5.
So we'll continue to see Shakira working with the US government or any government in this regard to push this. You talked also yesterday about the need for an education fund.
Yeah.
What? Just give us an example of the sort of fund you're talking about here and the sort of money that you're looking to raise.
That's the hardest part of
Sure.
all, fundraising for ECD. I think that all countries need, well, especially donor countries that reserve a portion of the GDP to education, they have to increase that spend and focus on ECD. It's very important. It's key to the success of our goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, because I think that at the heart of the Sustainable Development Goals, there is the urgency to think about the smallest kids. I mean, they're the foundation of society. If you're going to build a 10-story building, you need to think about,
Sure.
come on,
Sure.
putting together a really solid foundation, otherwise the building crumbles. So how can we expect sustainable projects from here going forward? How do we expect to continue growing our businesses if we're not thinking of the very foundation of society?
Final question. I spoke with Forrest Whitaker this morning. He accepted an award as well last night alongside you. He also is a big part of fighting for the SDGs and making these a success. He talked about changing the consciousness of the world. Is Davos a good place to start to do that, do you think?
Well, Davos is a great place to talk about our children's needs and how important it is to prepare them for what's coming, for the challenges that humanity has to face, not only right now, but from here to the next 20 years. Climate change, unemployment, starvation. It's expected that the population, the world population will grow and will be concentrated in the poorest countries. And we will need to feed 9 billion people, or we will have to face conflict and starvation, more conflict and more starvation. And those who are going to have to be dealing with all of those issues in the future are going to be today's babies and today's kids. So that's why this is a great place to have a conversation, open the debate, make sure that the message is delivered and that it stays with those people who move the needle, even though I'm convinced that everyone can move the needle their own way, especially today with social media explosion, when everybody has a platform, anyone has a Twitter and an Instagram account. I mean, come on, we can all talk about our children's needs, put it at the top of people's politicians' agendas, and also even share literature on the issue, campaign for it. The public awareness campaigns are a big, vital part of all of this, and that's why I'm here, talking about it, campaigning for it.
Shakira, thank you very much for your candor, and I wish you the best of luck with
so
all of
much.
this. Thank you so much indeed.